Assurance. And we have Dheeraj, who's joined us from Tricentis. Hope you all have a very insightful session. We would have a question and answer session towards the end of the webinar. So, all the best to you guys. Sujata, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Shipra, for organizing this webinar. First of all, thanks everyone for joining in today. A very warm welcome to this webinar. Very good afternoon to you all. Thank you, Tricentis team, for joining along with us for this, webinar. So I'm really excited to, dive deep into quality evolution of the digital world and see how QE is important in this whole digital initiatives. But before that, we will just quickly go over, introductions about what we do. And Tricentis also will talk about, we'll spend just 2 to 3 minutes about what is it that they are bringing onto the table. And then we'll quickly move on to straight away to the topic. So just to introduce about Connect, we have been in the industry for quite some time, and Connect Digital started 2 years ago. We are, a division of Quest Corp, and we have 220 plus customers across India and Middle East and across the globe, and we have 22 centers all over India. We have very specialized practices delivering digital engineering services to and data analytics, digital assurance services, and we are focusing on enterprise applications like Salesforce and SAP as well. We are catering to various industry verticals like banking and financial services, retail, insurance, manufacturing, healthcare, etc. So this is a very quick, brief introduction about Connect Digital, what we do as a part of Connect Digital. I'll quickly move over to digital assurance. I am heading digital assurance practice at Connect. So have spent around close to 2 decades in this quality assurance domain. And a quick overview of what we have been doing for the past 2.5 years at Connect Digital. So we have a very strong team delivering quality assurance services to various industry verticals, banking and financial services, manufacturing, retail, and also we are delivering specific, testing related services to product platforms as well. As you can see, various technologies that we have been supporting across the test life cycle, be it functional testing, regression, UAT, data testing, and packaged application testing across all the test life cycle areas we are focusing on. Now, coming to the key enablers for us, I'm really proud of the team that has been consistently, delivering to our customers, providing quality related services. We have a very well-defined, developed automation frameworks in terms of, functional testing as well as performance testing services. With this, we have created a very focused competencies, as you can see, which brings in its own capabilities for the specific services. Test automation is amongst the first one. There's a huge focus on test automation across, and I'll talk about why it is so much important. And today's discussion is all about that. We do have a performance testing practice within digital assurance and digital experience testing, where on testing the applications across various devices, ensuring the compatibility testing is done across, leveraging various cloud-based services from Lambda Test as well as Tricentis tools itself, platforms. And we are also focused on SAP testing services especially. And here I would like to bring in about Tricentis and its tools in the SAP testing space. They are the Solex partners for SAP, and we have built a strong competency over here. Over to that, we are, we bring in the quality engineering services, not just quality assurance services, but quality engineering services, wherein the shift left and shift think right concepts that we are adapting. So I'll come to it very soon. And our last and not but least enablers are our alliance and partnership driven solutions. And today's discussion, along with Tricentis, I request Dheeraj to talk about what is it that Tricentis is bringing it onto the table. So over to you, Dheeraj.
Hi, Sujata. Thank you. First of all, greetings everyone. My name is Dheeraj Yadav, and I'm part of the Solution Architects team at Tricentis, based out of Singapore. So, if you have not heard of Tricentis before, we are the global leaders in test automation. We are recognized by all the major industry analysts, as you can see, as market leaders in the test automation category. Our products and technologies are being used by more than 3,000 plus customers worldwide. In addition to that, we have over 400,000 certified automation specialists that are using Tricentis products day in and day out. We're also very proud of our strategic partnerships and alliances, as you can see, with the major cloud providers such as AWS and Azure, and the largest software vendors such as SAP, Oracle, ServiceNow, and many others. Now, that brings us to our mission. Our mission is successful customers. So basically, through our technologies, we enable the customers to deliver or come out with applications or solutions at a rapid pace. Now, these applications need to be of high quality, high performing, and highly secure. So how do we actually achieve it? And what is the Tricentis way of it? Right? So how we achieve is that we embed quality at every step of the way. Basically, you don't have to look at the quality or testing at the end of your development life cycle. We have the technology that allows you to start testing from the get-go. We look at testing your application from a holistic perspective, not only just functional, which is your application, but also testing your data. We also have solutions to ensure that your application can scale. And with the help of our partner ecosystem, we're able to assist you with your security aspect as well. Last but not the least, when it comes to the part of compliance or regulatory, we have solutions that help you assist in that aspect as well. Now, Tricentis' way of doing things is to keep up with the change in technology, pace of the technology. So we are investing heavily in the AI-enabled technology aspect of it, so that all our technologies are enabled and can work at pace of AI. Our technologies not only are fixated on one kind of technology, our technology supports such as web, desktop, mobile, APIs, and so on. And the biggest part of it is that our technologies help you to collaborate from different personas in your teams, right? So for example, we have solutions which actually developers can start engaging and collaborating with the testers and the business analysts on the same platform, but still looking in their day-to-day activities as well, right? As we move into this particular segment of our webinar today, we'll have a look on how Tricentis approaches it and how our different solutions actually help you in your testing or quality assurance journey. With that, I will pass to Sujata for the next segment of this webinar.
Thanks, Dheeraj, for the introduction. So this is my favorite topic, driving assurance in digital world. Before actually coming into it, I would like to take 2 minutes talking about the digital transformation and how it is driving us to change the way we are doing testing today, because quality has undergone quite a lot of change. For the last 2 decades, a lot of change has happened. And what has triggered, right? So everyone knows about digital transformation, but just for the ease of conversation, I'll just touch upon that. So what is digital transformation? It is for the business. For the business, it is to access the digital network across various devices around the business users, customers, and then various stakeholders, continuously enabling them to take the decisions and do the business operations efficiently and achieve the end business goals. So this is how we can, define what is digital transformation. So with this, what has happened today, how it has strengthened the various network components that is part of this digital transformation, various devices it has strengthened, the way, the value that it's providing today, and also the storage area, where there is a lot of cloud-based solutions, the low-cost storage area has come up. Leveraging all this, we are able to provide this kind of transformation. The way we are doing, operations has changed continuously, and hence the IT system, which is the backbone of these operations, is continuously getting transformed. Now, how quality, why quality is so important, right? So here it plays a very, very humongous role. If we don't ensure that these applications go to production without any faults, without any defects, we cannot provide that kind of a customer experience to our customers. Because with all these changes, the customer is actually, if you look at it, the driving force here is the customer. The customer is sitting at the center and actually driving all the changes, right? So ensuring customer satisfaction is utmost priority for our business. And QA plays a very, very important role over here, because if we provide quality services, quality products to our customers, only then our customers will be satisfied. Now, let's take a quick view into how this digitization, hyper digitization, what has happened in the last 1 to 2 years. I just picked up. It posed a lot of risk to the business itself. I just would like to highlight a few here. There are quite a few, but a few of them I would like to talk about. And so first one, if you look at it, it recently happened in the month of October. This is I can name this bank. This is Bandhan Bank. They migrated their core banking system and internet banking system to a new platform, and they ensured the testing would have definitely happened. And but next day, what happened? Many of their customers, they were unable to log in and do their basic services, net banking services and all. There was quite a lot of disruption all over social media. People started complaining, and then Bandhan Bank had to, give in open forum. They had to admit that there is some, change that has happened. So that kind of disruption, we can imagine how difficult it is for the business to run, right? So second, again, SBI. I am also a SBI customer. So consistently, if the server goes down, if there are any patches, then the customers are getting disrupted. And it is really, easier to win customers, but retaining the existing customers becomes very, very difficult. And that's where we have to really focus on quality and ensure that whenever any new releases are released to production, any new changes are released to production, it doesn't impact the quality of the release. And third one, if you see the Indigo servers in the month of August, 17 flights were delayed. So you can imagine the kind of problems that passengers faced just because the check-in software failed in the airports. So all the servers went down. And similarly, IRCTC was another example, right? So all these examples that I am looking at, where definitely it could have been, it wouldn't have happened if it had taken little more, quality aspects into concern, and we should have taken care of it, or the IT team should have taken care of. So end of the day, it is not enough if we release the applications or digital systems, right? We have to release digital immune systems. Organizations has to focus on how to release digital immune systems, how to develop digital immune systems. So it's very, very important, and QA plays a very humongous role. Now, what is digital immune system? Before coming to digital immune system, let's quickly spend some time on understanding the technical depth. So this term has been there for quite some time, and this was introduced way back in 90s by Ward Cunningham, who was the founder of Agile. So this has been there. It's nothing new. But these days, if you see, when the digital transformation is happening, a lot of digital initiatives are focused. The technical depth, the importance of it has become huge here. So what is technical depth? If we look at it, there are various ways of defining it. But what Gartner says is any deviation of the application from the non-functional requirements will be considered as a technical depth. For example, we would have taken care of most of the functional requirements. But when it comes to non-functional requirements, they'll put it, okay, this release is very important. Let us take it in the next release. Let us release it without, focusing on those kind of non-functional requirements. So that becomes a big risk for the business. And also, technical debt is something that you had to fix it today, and you are due to the release of the pressure and etc. You are pushing it the code today, and so that, okay, let us look at it tomorrow. So these kind of technical debts has to be addressed, and primarily from the non-functional requirements perspective. When it comes to non-functional requirements, there is a notion that primarily, when I looked at many of the customers, right? Okay, performance testing is one of the key, and security they consider performance and security testing. But there are 7 attributes which are very, very important when it comes to non-functional requirements. One is the compatibility testing. One simple example is if any mobile applications are released. Now, if it works with one OS and one kind of Android or iOS device, and it is not necessary that it works across all the operating. So it has to be tested to ensure that it is compatible. The mobile application is compatible across all the devices, right? So that's a compatibility testing that becomes very, very important when it comes to building the digital immune systems. Second thing is usability. For customer satisfaction, ease of use is very, very important, and hence that can be handled through. So that can be handled through usability testing, right? Which we will have to focus on. Apart from this, of course, performance and various other reliability testing, multiple aspects come into picture. But the question is, how do I do so many types of testing? And I also have to ensure the functionalities are tested well. And how do I complete all these types of testing within this short span of time? Right? So that is where the automation is the way forward. Without automation, we will simply not be able to cover, ensure coverage across all this. Specific to some of the SAP applications, if you look at it, the new SAP S4HANA, they have introduced 360 plus roles customization. Now, without automation, if I completely do it manually, it becomes really, really challenging to ensure the coverage across so many different roles, right? So that's one example. So now, if automation is way forward, now I just want to give you a view of what is automation, test automation, how are our customers with whom we have been interacting, what is the state in today, right? So some of the customers have still not leveraged automation at all. Testing is still manual, right? So, and the same kind of approach is no longer applicable in today's world. Everything has changed. You have to release it quickly, at the same time ensure customer satisfaction. And hence, this is very important. And there's sometimes we have spoken to customers where they say they complain that the testing team itself is bigger than the development team. This recently happened with one of our customers. They are implementing their banking product. This is a product-based vendor, product development vendor. They are implementing a banking product and customizing it for various customers. Their testing team is like 3 times bigger than the development team. So why is all these things? Because they are all doing testing manually, and hence it is required. They have to test each and every screen, because customizing is easier, but testing it and ensuring it works across becomes very, very difficult. And with some of the customers where there is automation, still they are struggling. What they're saying is that we are unable to achieve 90% automation. While I want to achieve 90% test automation, I am still at 40%, 50% for various reasons, right? There could be, the technology, the tools that are available, they are not supporting that kind of an automation that is required in today's world. Now, this statement is acceptable, let us say, 10 years back or 20 years back. But today, there are tools available to do end-to-end test automation. across all the technologies, right? So that's what we also have to leverage while implementing test automation and choose the right set of automation tools across web, mobile, desktop, enterprise applications like SAP and Salesforce. This is the requirement, right? So any SAP system is not just alone, right? It has to interact with multiple surrounding applications, and hence the technology is widespread. And another important thing that our customers are asking is that I need a continuous test automation, right? So traditionally, automation was only looked at automating the regression test cases, which was like kind of backward, right? So we only looked at the what happened earlier. But today we need to automate the functional testing also. That's where the continuously I can align to the CI/CD releases that are happening today. So these are the challenges, and the complexity increases when the number of test cases increase. With the traditional set of automation tools, it is really very, very difficult to achieve this. And many of our customers, they've spent a lot of effort and money on the automation tools, but they are really not getting that kind of a return on investments, primarily from maintenance of that automation suite is really increasingly difficult for them. And there is a lot of dependency on the coding skills by using the open source automation tools that are available. We definitely have to look at the new age automation tools to address all these challenges, right? So that's where, from our point of view, when it comes to automation, is organizations has to invest on programs, QA programs, aligning to their business outcomes. Ecosystem outcomes is what we call, and hence have to approach automation first as the first approach for any digital transformation or digital initiatives. This has to be the first approach. And while choosing an automation strategy, ROI has to be focused. And how, when I invest on a specific set of automation platforms or tools, whether will it give me the right ROI that I'm looking for? And how do we leverage the modernized test automation platforms that are there? And also leveraging the cloud-based platforms. Today, we can achieve quite a lot of cost optimizations through these platforms as well. And ultimately, all of this will lead to faster time to market. If I adopt the automation first approach, I definitely can meet the faster time to market requirement from our customers, right? So from our way of looking at test automation is not just to automate the regression or a functional test cases. We should also look at the end-to-end test lifecycle automation. So there are various pockets within the test life cycle where we can still go ahead and automate. Now, coming to the functional or regression test automation, having the right set of test automation framework supporting various technologies, web, mobile, then API testing, and then SAP, there are enterprise systems. See, I cannot have multiple tools, various tools for testing each of the technologies. That becomes really difficult and cumbersome to manage the test automation work that I do, or test automation suites. And also another aspect over here is each of these technologies has to integrate with each other, right? For example, when I am creating a scenario from mobile, and once I submit the form, it should go to web. And this was one of the requirements from our customer. It seamlessly it has to go to web, and from there web I will approve or do decision and come back to mobile and do. I'll be somewhere else. I'll be doing. So integrating the automation scripts across becomes very, very difficult if there is no unified test automation framework. That's the key over here. And when it comes to test lifecycle automation, automating, bringing the tool for test management and various other, within testing, how we can, speed up the reporting process. How do we ensure the risk-based testing? In all these places where we can still, increase the test automation and bring in the service virtualization. This is very important because most of the times, while you're still developing the product, some of the services, external services, may not be available for the automation team to do the scripting. So that's where we can leverage this service virtualization concepts or tools available and bring in the end-to-end test lifecycle automation over here. So this is our point of view. And now we'll see how Connect has been, doing this automation consistently. We have a well-defined strategy and framework here, and this will definitely help us in building the digital immune system of tomorrow. Right? So today, we cannot just look at today. The systems has to be ready for tomorrow. So from that perspective, these three are very, very important, focusing on the continuous quality, speed, and also leveraging the cloud-based services. So I'll come to each of it. And when it comes to digital assurance, as we all know that customer experience is the key, where I need to focus on ensuring the end customer is satisfied. And also now omni-channel assurance. It is applications are ready for any of the channels. There is no, earlier we had only web channel, right? So today the IoT devices and multiple mobile devices has come into picture. Thirdly, scalability and security. This is a very, very important aspect. And traditionally, when we were doing testing was always an afterthought, right? So once the development is done, the coding is done, the testing team has to come and look at, write the test cases and run it and execute the test cases. So this kind of an approach is no longer applicable today. We will have to bring in the quality that is way earlier in the life cycle, early in the life cycle, and that's where shift left and shift right methodologies also have been developed in QA. So what happens here is the testing team starts right from the beginning, looking at the requirements. The same requirements goes to development team and also the testing team. So they kind of focus on the non-functional requirements, what we spoke about earlier, right in the initial stages. And hence we'll look at the requirements critically, because some of the requirements are explicit requirements, but some may be the implicit requirements. That is where the testing team brings in a lot of value over here. The domain aspect comes into picture over here, and we'll be able to capture those implicit requirements also and track it. Now, quality has to be embedded in the design and in the development phase itself. And that's where automation will kick in. We focus on the automating the application. So earlier we did not have sophisticated tools to do this kind of functional test automation. And today, with all the AI-driven tools, we'll be able to achieve this kind of shift left approach very easily, the functional test automation easily, because some of the wireframes, all the screens that are getting developed, the testing team can take those, build those automation scripts, and then once the system is ready, we can use and make the automation scripts work. All this is possible because of AI-enabled automation tools here. And another important aspect is the change, the maintainability of the automation suite is not very important. And because of that, many of our customers are not able to get that kind of an ROI. So when it comes to maintenance, whenever there is a change that has happened to the application, change is inevitable. It keeps on happening. For me to go back and change in the scripts, every time there is a change, there is a high dependency on the coding skills. And you have to go back to each and every script. We will not know where exactly I have to go and update. So that is where the model-based testing approach is very, very good. We have been leveraging this model-based testing approach. So if you make a change, it is all centrally managed in one place, and everywhere it should reflect whatever the changes that I have made in the script or in the test case. So that will bring in kind of managing the test automation suite very efficiently, and also focusing on the usability and accessibility testing aspect as well. Now, all this, the speed we are able to get the kind of speed that is required through automation only. That's the only way, and using the automation tools that are available in today's world, right? Third thing is the cloud-based services, as we know. So we will not be able to maintain every single device within the environment and test it that it ensures when it comes to mobile device testing. That's where the cloud-based platforms have been developed. We have been consistently leveraging those platforms, and also for cross-browser testing. This is very, very important as a part of compatibility testing, right? So each user might be having various browser versions, various types of browsers, etc. And we are focusing a lot on bringing in a low cost approach towards our optimizing the testing costs by leveraging the cloud-based services. So with all this, we are able to bring in the value to our customers by leveraging new age continuous testing platforms and help our customers in building the digital immune system, which is the future of, as per Gartner also, which is the future for our organizations. So I'll take a pause. I'll transfer control to Dheeraj to talk about how Tricentis is bringing in this continuous testing platform and how we are leveraging that.
Thank you, Sujata. I'll quickly share my screen. All right. So just let me devise the screen. All right. Now, before we dive into the solutions or the technologies that Tricentis offers, there are a couple of myths surrounding testing practices. So I'm sure you guys might be having testing practices, or some of you might be testing leaders. And there are certain myths that needs to be burst as we go forward into how Tricentis solutions actually assist in. So I've collated a set of 4 myths, which will basically translate into the solutions down the line. One of the myth is around test coverage, is that if I have a small change in my application and I've tested that change, then it's enough. I don't have to test the whole application as such. The reality or fact about this is that a small change can have a massive impact over the overall application, right? And when it comes to large-scale applications, manual testing for all these areas is unrealistic, right? So as Sujata as well mentioned, that automation is the way to go. So if you are currently doing manual testing of your small changes, performing a application-wide test is imminent and can give you that confidence to move those changes into the production. Now, Tricentis solutions offer a risk-based assessment so that when you perform a change, you can easily identify that due to this specific change, what are the areas that are impacted? And then you can run your test only for those impacted areas, which means that you have higher release assurance as you move forward in your delivery lifecycle. Another myth is that test scripts are scalable, which means that if I've created one test script and I can run my one test set of data there, I can perform different type of tests using the same test script as much as I can. The fact of the matter is that when you want to test on a small test data, your testing is limited to that perspective only. If you have to expand your testing scope, the current test scripts cannot scale, which means that you will have to have large set of data, or you need to engage multiple resources to perform different type of data testing. You'll have to create a lot of test data approach. In that scenario, you spend a lot of time. With Tricentis' test case design methodology or approach, we do away with the standard of test scripts. We come to the standard of test script templates, test case templates, where we define a template and apply the different data combinations that are possible to that template. What it results at the end also is the maintenance part of it. You do not maintain multiple test scripts. You will be looking at only one test script template. In addition to the maintenance part, is that, say, for example, today you are doing, say, totally script-based test automation or manual automation per se, right? The maintenance is free if you go to test automation, right? Now, script-based test automation, it might seem that when you are doing it for, say, for example, one or few test cases, script-based test automation might be the way to go. However, it comes with a caveat that you need to have a person who has technical knowledge to write those scripts. Number one. Number two, as your number of test cases increase, they are not maintainable, right? If you have a change in one aspect of your business process, you have to make a massive change in all these scripts in a technical fashion. With Tricentis' model-based test automation, the maintenance time is reduced up to 70 to 80%. The reason once we mentioned earlier was the risk-based test case design. And the model-based test design allows you to have more testing time and lesser maintenance time because you update the model and all the associated test scripts or test cases are easily updated and can be maintained in time. One of the common myths around test automation is that traditionally, when we think about automation, it looks like something to do with like robotics or automation, writing codes and stuff. That's true, but with the pace of time, test automation has also become modular. So as a business user, if you do not have a technology background, and if your organization is actually looking for you to perform or adopt automation technologies for your testing, Tricentis' solution allows you to actually adopt it much faster. You don't have to do any kind of coding. You just need to simply drag and drop your components that are part of your testing, provide the data, and you have your test script or test case ready. You can apply that particular test case to multiple data sets, which means that today, when you have to spend a whole day performing UAT with Tricentis technology, that is Tosca, you will be able to perform that in a matter of minutes or hours, right? Now, looking from an end-to-end perspective, as Sujata as well mentioned, that when we're talking about technologies or solutions that you have in your technology enterprise landscape, you are not automating only one technology. You might be having information submitted from a mobile. You have to go back to your backend system to check whether that has been updated or placed or not. And then there might be backend database, APIs, all these tests might be required to perform your end-to-end testing. How Tricentis looks at it, it looks at the various areas and applies the different technologies. We first identify what to test. With our smart impact analysis technology, you are assured that if a certain change is going to be applied, what are the impacted areas? If it's a new release, you can easily identify that whether all these impacted areas are part of your regression suite, for example, right? Do you have test scripts or test cases created for that or not? It generates a report which you can use to build your test suite and again rerun to identify if there are any impact gaps. Once you have identified what to test, you go to the next stage to identify, yes, whether this thing works or not. With Tricentis' AI-powered end-to-end test automation, you are assured that your business process is tested functionally from one end to the other end. The next stage comes is, does it scale? Now you built an application or you made a change in your application business process. With the demand or with the traffic that that particular change is going to go through, can your application scale, right? That's where we have the enterprise performance testing solutions in place. Traditionally, data has been on the backbench. Basically, as long as my system is working fine, I've tested it over certain test data, it's fine. If I have to move data from one system to another system or from one data warehouse to another data warehouse, As long as it's working, I can run few SQL queries, I can check a subset of data, it's fine. But in the recent times where data is getting created at lightning speed, it becomes essential for your application to be tested from a data perspective as well. For example, in a banking sector, a customer, during their data warehouse migration, there was an anomaly of 10 cents per transaction. And they had millions of rows. They actually had a difference in their reporting in millions. The reason was that they did not test when the data migration was done, was the data correct or not in the destination system. With the data integrity solution that Tricentis offers, you can be assured if you're doing a data migration project or if you have multiple data sources coming into your system, your data is accurate. Once you have covered all these grounds, you need to be assured as test managers, is it ready? The application change that I have made, I have tested functionally, I know what all changes were there. How do I manage and have a visibility of that? Is through solutions provided by Tricentis, where you have an overall bird's eye view of what is the quality of your different business components or your application as a whole. And last but not the least, whether it is compliant. Certain sectors have a mandatory compliance requirement for a particular application, right? So we'll see how our Tricentis products answer these queries. We start with what to test. So with Tricentis Live Compare, it can give you over 90% business risk coverage by using the risk AI technologies, which allows you to have a view that what are the areas that need to be tested. So if before your testing effort was a lot and your test coverage was lower because maybe you are doing manual testing or you are not able to scale with the script-based approach, with the advent of Tricentis Live Compare, now you have that visibility that you test less, but in the same time, you have a visibility which gives you high risk coverage. You can, with confidence, release your apps to the production, knowing that you have tested all these areas. Hashtag test the right things, right? So we are not testing everything. Maybe we want to test an overall comprehensive test, but is it required? Most of the times, testing does not get enough time that is required. Maybe there was some development issue. Maybe there was a production issue that actually impacted your developers to change your details. Now, testing cycle got shortened. With risk-based assessment, you will be ensured that you have enough time to test all the important areas. Coming to the does it work? And that is our flagship product, that is Tricentis Tosca. With Tricentis Tosca's AI-based codeless automation, you are assured that number one, you don't need to be a technical expert to start your journey on automation, right? Today, you are managing multiple Excel sheets, multiple folders. The collaboration between the teams might be clunky. With Tricentis Tosca, you can actually start capturing your requirements in Tosca itself. You can apply and define a requirements traceability matrix, which has a view of what are the different test cases associated. You can have a test case traceability, that one test case is associated to what all requirements. When it comes to automation, it is very easy to simply scan and create your test scripts. These test scripts can easily be part of your different execution suites. As I mentioned earlier as well, that using risk-based test case design, you are able to ensure that you do not spend a lot of time maintaining these automation test scripts because application change is imminent. But at the same time, you should have a solution that helps you and does not add to your work. Tricentis Tosca does that. It has integration with third-party tools. Say, for example, you are using Jira for your requirements management today. You can easily integrate Jira with Tosca so that any requirements created in Tosca can easily be in Jira can easily flow into Tosca. And same with defects in Tosca get reflected in Jira. All in all, what happens is that customers have reported that they see 80% faster release cycles. They see that the automation rates have increased. So due to lack of time, if they were having, say, for example, 2 or 3 releases, they were easily able to adopt the agile practices and have multiple releases over the year, because they are able to assure that all the testing is done correctly. They are aware what all things to be tested. And at the end, what happens is that you can confidently say that you have done the risk coverage in your application testing. Test smarter, not harder. That's where we're looking at. Does it scale? So with Tricentis Neoload, we are able to test for all the applications, starting from microservices to monoliths, to web applications, to desktop applications. Traditionally, what happens is that we try to have multiple testers perform tests at the same system, but it is not scalable, right? In real time, if you have your internal applications, you need to ensure that your users are basically able to perform the day-to-day activities and their BAU work gets better and not slower as they go. If you're having applications which are customer-facing, you want to have a good customer experience. Say, for example, an online retailer, basically, they perform their testing internally, but they did not factor for holiday season. What happened was, when the holiday season came, their system could not handle the load and the server crashed. They could have easily averted this particular situation if they had something like Tricentis Neoload, where you can easily scale and assess if there are any bottlenecks in your application. The technologies that Tricentis provides are integrated with each other, which means that in the previous stage, if you have done your functional testing in Tricentis Tosca for web applications and SAP applications, you can directly convert those functional test automation into performance test, right? So you save your time from the get-go, which means that you can easily learn these technologies and apply in your technology landscape. Now, we know that if a website is slow, is not responsive, then we say that, okay, the performance is not good. Or now the theory has changed. Basically, slow is the new downtime. When it comes to does it work, we have covered from the performance perspective. Now comes the part of data. So now I've tested my application. I need to ensure that my data is correct. Today, we might be doing stare and compare, or we might be running it against a small subset. It leaves us open to a lot of data issues. How do we ensure that it is basically correct? With Tricentis data integrity, you are assured that in an automated fashion, you can ensure end-to-end data testing through the different stages of your data transformation. And the best part about this is that you don't need to be a great data scientist to perform it. You can use Tricentis Tosca's model-based test automation approach, which creates those models which are easily updatable. So if you have your application that has custom SQL queries, you can actually model this in your test automation so that apart from your functional test, in the same test, you can perform your data testing as well. With data integrity solution, you can test or reconcile data in say, for example, million number of records in a matter of minutes. Is it ready? Is your data ready? Is your testing ready? How do you ensure that you have covered all the areas? Is through Tricentis Q-Test, which provides you the analytics platform where you can centrally manage and collaborate on your entire testing landscape. So you might be having multiple test runs for a project. You might be having multiple projects. You're looking at a lot of test resources, developers collaboration, and you might be using multiple technologies today. With Tricentis Q-Test, you can ensure that from a quality assurance perspective, you have the end-to-end visibility, what the different personas are performing in their capacity, right? What happens is that once you have your areas of visibility, using Q-test, you can focus your test or your time in that particular aspect to give it the necessary push that is required from the teams. You can easily collaborate with the teams. You can also integrate it with third-party solutions so that automated tests can be scheduled or automated actions can be taken through Q-test itself. And last, we are looking at data compliance. This is a very common factor in the health and life science industry, that they need to be testing their application for certain capabilities as well in terms of compliance, right? Traditionally, managing automation and managing all these solutions, it becomes a bit challenging, and it sounds clunky because we are looking at technology specialists basically performing that task of automation, and then you have the business users who are responsible that all these compliance checks are being performed. Using Tricentis Vera, you are able to perform those checks at a faster pace, which means that it de-risks of your application being vulnerable in terms of adhering to all these compliance checks, right? You will be able to assure that you are using the different testing tools and they are able to perform within the scope of the compliance that is required for your organization. At last, I'll leave you with the entire test portfolio that we provide from a quality assurance or engineering perspective, where we have the different set of technologies that serve your different personas, number one. It serves your different processes or your automation needs or your performance needs or your data validation needs. All the technologies are DevOps ready. So for example, if you're using CI/CD concepts in your current project delivery, you can easily embed these technologies in your current CI/CD pipeline. It can easily integrate with your other third-party tools as well. On top of it, adopting these particular technologies is easy because we do have something called Tricentis Academy, where you can self-enable yourself, get yourself familiarized, and become an expert in these particular technologies on your own. With that, I will pass it over to Sujata.
Yeah, thank you, Dheeraj. Thanks for such an insightful case study. If you can show the slide back, Dheeraj.
Yes.
Thanks. So really, we thank you for such an insightful session. It was very good. I'll just spend 2-3 minutes on how we have, leveraged Tricentis tool, Tricentis Tosca, for one of the customers, wherein they were migrating from SAP ECC system to S/4HANA. So one of the key challenge for this customer, this was a manufacturing customer. So they wanted to shorten the test execution cycle time. When they had already developed the, they knew what is the test strategy, everything was in place. But when they looked at it, the testing cycle time, they were really not happy with. That's when they approached us to look at how do I optimize the cycle time? How do I bring it down to 50%? That was the requirement, right? So that's when we went and looked at their application. Knowingly, SAP system is quite complex, and also with this customer, the customizations that they had done, the custom objects that they had implemented, the kind of SAP code, there's a lot of interdependency between the modules. Not only this SAP system had to interact with other applications with varied, technologies, applications with varied technologies, heterogeneous technologies. So they wanted to have an end-to-end solution wherein I should be able to automate any kind of application, including SAP, and also PDF validations, etc. So within a single platform, I don't want to invest on multiple automation tools, right? So that was the requirement, and hence we proposed Tricentis Tosca. And the value that we brought in was we optimized the cycle time up to 50%. And we were able to bring in the automation within 3 months. We were able to complete the test automation for around 200 very complex business processes, right? So that's the metrics that I can talk about. And across various modules, FICO, all the modules in SAP, we have automated, and they're leveraging this automated test suite for every release that they're doing it. So post migration also, they're leveraging this automated suite. And one of the advantages over here is the maintenance of the test automation suite. Even though there are some functionality changes that they are doing, the business users themselves also are able to modify slightly. When they have some issues, there is an expert from our side, but otherwise they are able to manage the automated suite. So that's the advantage. Traditional automation solutions would have been really, really difficult. It would have taken minimum 6 months to automate that kind of a business process and the complex technologies that they have. So we are able to bring in that value to our customers, and it's been really, really appreciated by them, with the kind of work that we have done along with Tricentis, Tosca tool. And thank you very much. I'll pause. We will take any questions if you have. Please feel free to ask us. Either me or Dheeraj will answer. Any questions from anybody?
There is a question from sort of question that can you please show us some demos from Supreet? Is Supreet still online?
Okay. So we definitely can arrange for a demo. Supreet, we will do it. Due to the time constraint, we are unable to show all the case studies and also the demo in this session. We are very happy to do a demo.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we can wrap up. Thank you so much for the insightful session, Sujata and Dheeraj. Thank you to all the customers and participants who joined from and taking out time from your valuable time. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
All of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank you. Thank you.